This is becoming almost a tradition at Bonsai Empire videos that we try to style a Christmas tree around Christmas time. This tree it's healthy, the new growth is healthy, but it also had a lot of dieback. I bought it after Christmas, so then that's the time when all the retailers have to get rid of these sort of plants. Perhaps they didn't water them well, so some branches died off, etc. But let's see if we can make something nice with this with applying the bonsai techniques at the right times and a bit of love as well and attention, good fertilizing, etc. Right now the tree is planted in an organic soil, which is horrible. So we'll have to change that at some point, perhaps next early spring. But today it's fall, so it's a better time to focus on the foliage and the green parts of the tree. It's a double trunk tree. We can see if we want to use both trunks, or perhaps only use one for the living foliage and use the other one completely stripped off the bark as a gin, a bulbless feature. But before making any changes to the tree, I first want to see where the first roots appear. So I'll take it out of its pot, do that right now, and get rid of that first layer of soil. And I want to scrape away the soil until those first roots start to appear. Alright, so I took the rim of the pot off as well so that you can also see what I'm seeing right here. So the first roots start to appear here. So I was saying it's a double trunk, but that's not really true. It's one trunk that splits into two. Now, what is the process of approaching a tree like this, or any tree that hasn't been styled before? For a viewer that is perhaps starting out with bonsai, that can seem to be rather complex, but really there's a few rules that you can always apply, and if you go through those, you make your life a little bit easier. With a tree like this, unless you would want to make a cascade or something really different, but if you want to make an upright tree, for sure you want to free up the trunk up until about 1/3 of the height of your final image. So if the final image of the tree will be until here, I know for sure that all the branches underneath here will have to come off. So I won't even start cleaning the tree, I'll just first start clean up the trunk and get rid of all those branches underneath.
Before continuing, I'd like to show you our brand new Bonsai Care app. The app provides tree species specific information for all your trees, and it can set smart reminders to optimize the care for your bonsai. It is available for free in the app stores.
Okay, so pruning that first third of the trunk, making sure that there's no branches. What this does is it shows you the viewer of this bonsai tree sees the trunk, and that gives the tree meaning, because otherwise if it would just be completely full, it's a bush, right? So to make it a tree, you need to see a trunk. So basically we go from bush to tree by freeing up that first 1/3 of the trunk. Now, next step, for me at least, is to always get rid of all the dead stuff. So all these dead branches, dead foliage throughout the tree. And it also gives me time to make up my mind, see or find out the structure of the tree. And usually by the end, when I have cleaned all the dead wood, I know if I want to use both trunks or not, etc. So let's do that. All right, so like I said, I'm starting to get a feeling for the tree. Same for you, I'll spin it around one more time. And then I think the next part in cleaning up the tree is also cleaning up the armpits of the branches. So some branches have other branches growing out underneath those, old buds, dead parts. So I'll remove those as well. You can use scissors, but usually you can also just use your fingers. Doing this also prepares the tree for wiring. All right, so clean up the tree, cleaned the first third of the trunk as well. And I think really this tree gives us two options. Option one is the option we already mentioned. We use these branches, bring them down and create an upright growing tree, a lot of branches. And actually you do see a few of these sort of trees with this cheap material also on YouTube. So if you're interested in that, perhaps just Google Picea bonsai. I think the alternative, option B, is to prune even more of these branches. So take all these out as well and work with some of the branches higher up in the tree and create more like a literati style or bunjin style tree. So with even less branches, as if this tree was growing in a forest with a lot of trees around it and only the top branches survived. So actually that is what we're going for. So we'll reduce the height of the tree as well. We'll prune out the top. So I can actually prune sections of this off already to give you an idea of where it would be. So let's say for now, perhaps more later. We'll prune that off and then I'll prune all these branches and then you start seeing the option for the bunjin. So if the trunk and the branches will be a little bit thicker, I could actually leave some stumps on and create gins out of those. But these are so thin that it doesn't really make sense. All right, so let's work with this. Wire up the tree, bring those branches down or select the branches that we want to use for that. So a bunjin style tree means that we won't use all these branches, but only a couple of them. I'll take you up close also for the wiring so that you can see that. And then let's see what we finish up with today.
Styling a bonsai tree and applying these sort of techniques correctly is one of the most difficult parts in creating a bonsai tree. You can check out our YouTube channel for videos about these techniques, but perhaps also consider enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. Here, expert teachers explain all the relevant techniques in detail, and as a student you can also ask questions directly to the teachers. Each of our online bonsai courses have free previews available in the curriculums. Simply go to bonsaiempire.com/courses.
It's early spring today, so it's a really nice time to work on the roots and get this in proper soil. So the soil it's in right now, it's an organic soil, so it holds a lot of water. Too much water also for the amount of foliage that the tree still has. So I'll take it out of its plastic pot, work on the roots, and then let's see if we can get it in this very shallow container, which is quite big but very shallow, so it would have to be a bit like a mountain scene. But let's see if we can get it in here. If it doesn't work, if the roots are just too big, I'll have some other pot options as well, and this will be the next step. But perhaps we'll be able to get it in here today. So it's full right now. I took the wires off a few weeks ago, so the wire's been on for quite a long time. But as you can see, some of these branches did go up a little bit again, and I do want them really hanging down. So what the tree will need is a bit more wire. We'll do that today. And a bit of pruning, but not too much. There's a lot of buds, so the tree looks very healthy, and I think in spring will be the time when it really starts filling up. But so far it's been slow, and also reacting to the repotting and the pruning and the wiring. We did a lot at the same time. So today just an update, the wiring, a bit of pruning here and there, but that's really all for today.
Learn how to create your own bonsai trees by enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. We explain techniques like pruning, wiring and repotting, and you can ask questions to the teachers. For the curriculums and free lessons, go to bonsaiempire.com/courses.